if you think about what Letterman has done, if you think about what Mellencamp has done, if you think about what all of those folks have done, they've captured the ability to tell a story. They have found a unique way to capture the ability to connect. And those same principles, those same qualities, I think apply to small business just as much as they apply to music or broadcasting.
BSVP On-Site, and today we're going to do a recap of some of the best sales and marketing interviews that we've had over the past 9 months. We started this program back in March, and we've gone weekly every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Central, 12 p.m. noontime Eastern time. So I've kind of put together a few of the best. It's definitely not the best of the best. Although some are. So I've also tagged each episode so that you can watch the entire program. Again, this is a little bit just clips from interviews. The first section is we're talking about getting started, dealing with the pandemic, dealing with your business, creating new avenues with your passion. So we're talking with a number of our favorites here, and I'll get into that.
What have we been talking about a lot right now is, how do we sell? A lot of my clients are brick and mortar shops, and literally they're shut down. Like, what do they do? And how do they stay in business? Because as we all know, brick and mortar shops have a lot of more overhead costs, leases, potentially employees, like all of that. So this has been a topic big at hand within my community. And so I was thrilled that you asked me to come on and talk about it. So
is this a good time to start a new business? Let's say you were laid off and you have a hobby. Is this a good time to turn that hobby into an income stream?
I'm laughing because a post that I just put up on Instagram, you can go see it on Gift Biz Unwrapped, is about time is winding down. Like, soon the opportunity will be over because so many of us, have been sequestered at home, right? And so we've had more time. We're trying to figure out what to do with our time. And so, yes, now is a good time because a lot of the things that I hear from people who are looking at starting a business is, what? I don't have the time, right? So yes, now is an excellent time. I actually, and I'm not promoting the program, but I actually do have a program that helps people see if the product that they're making could turn into a business, because not every single product can, right? But yes, if you're considering starting a business, whether it's like in my group, like a handmade hobby turning into a business, online business, whatever, now is an excellent time because first off, you have the time to look at it. I think we're all in a different mind frame right now too. Like everything's just a little bit off kilter, which in a way is good because it opens you up to a lot of new creative ideas. So absolutely. I don't think it's kind of like having a baby. There's never necessarily the right time or the wrong time. If it's something that's on your heart that you want to do, go for it. Just do it.
Starting your own business takes more than just a desire to do what you're doing. If you like baking, starting a baking company takes more than just knowing how to bake cakes.
I'm finding that out. There are a lot of logistics that I didn't even think about when I started this. And every day I'm like, oh, add that to the list, add that to the list.
And so let's talk about a little bit about your business. So you've got design is basically business card. It's actually thank you notes, right? But they're customized.
Paper art is what I'm calling it. It's a paper art boutique because I do the notes, the thank yous and whatever, but I also have kind of splintered off and I make signage because of the COVID and the 2020 class wasn't allowed to have their graduation. So I made signs for all the seniors. I wanted to make it dimensional and I love sparkle. So anywhere I can put sparkle, I will add sparkle.
I think it's what's called glitter, or what's it called?
Well, it's glitter cardstock is what I'm mainly using.
See, these are some of the people you've been networking with lately, who are not only supporting you but encouraging you as well. There's one there with a big G on it, which kind of brings us to the beginning of your story as well. We keep on going back to the beginning of your story. So, and then also that one, the TR. Actually, I got that from you after I was on your show. So what's this G with a crown on top of it?
That is a card that kind of started everything. I ordered some items from Jeffrey Gittimer, and when they came in the mail, Jen had handwritten a thank you on it. And I thought, how cool is that? You know, it was nice to, you know, your order is, you know, thank you for your order. And I thought, I'm going to make her something really nice to send out in her orders. So I made that card, and the saying that they thank with love and gratitude were words from her mouth when we were chatting online back and forth. And she goes, I have every order I give thanks and gratitude. And I thought that was really, I like that. And so I made that card for her, and she just loved it. We were just talking one day, and I said, I sent these cards to Jennifer and she really liked them. And he goes, why don't you sell them? I said, because nobody will pay that much for a card. And then he said, you're not selling to the right people. And he's right. I go, once I shifted my targets, they'll pay for it because it's the quality. Because if you order one card and then you order 50, one card is easier than 50. So, you know, it's more work for me. So it's like, I can't charge less for more work. That's a bad business model. So, but I think they're fair. I think they're fairly priced. I mean, I price them by intricacy of the cut and pieces. Like the Ron Goodwin card that you saw is like 9 pieces. It's like, that was the most difficult card I've designed so far.
And so I guess that's part of your training, is to streamline the process, because with a video production, if we produce one video, then we can make multiple copies of that one video.
Right.
And making the copy is the easy part. So but you've got the die cutter, you've got the machinery, which all you need to do is set up an automated system where you just all the work goes into the original creative, and then you streamline it for the because like making one pancake is a lot of work, because you got to do all the batter and all the stuff and just do one pancake and then you're done. But if you do 30 pancakes, you've already got the batter. It's just go batter.
Right.
How have you seen often where people are in the transactional mode, where they just make the sale and then forget about the business and no follow-up and no additional content afterwards?
Yeah, they should be fired. Customers today want continual messaging and influencing beyond the sale. And it's important for a couple reasons. You know, you've been to some of my seminars, you videoed my seminars. And I always say this in every seminar: people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And by taking an order and never getting back to that customer again, or getting back once or twice and then forgetting about them and waiting for them to call you, is utterly foolish today. You're just slitting your throat, and you're opening the door, and you're leaving the door open. You need to create exit barriers. Now, what I mean by that is, you want to make sure that your customer's not going to go somewhere else. You don't want your competition to be able to get inside the door. And if you're continually having interactions with the customer or with the prospect, you're protecting yourself. You're protecting your business. And they know that you care. Sending them a little video clip, sending them an article that's relevant to their business, calling them up, but you have to have a reason for calling. If you're going to call them or if you're going to email them, don't waste their time. Have a reason for calling. You saw an article. You heard this. You happen to be driving by their plant and notice that. Whatever it may be, you have to have a reason for interacting with them. But please, continue messaging them beyond the sale. There's a financial advisor in Libertyville who sends out monthly market updates to prospects and customers. It's called drip marketing, which you're an expert at, Bruce.
Yep.
It's really that important to be able to continually communicate with them. So you have to ask yourself some very hard questions. What do you really know about your customer or about your prospects on an ongoing basis?
If you take one of my lines, let's take my fastener line, for example. The goal would be is we get you set up with the right pricing, the right product, and the right colors, all the things that the logistics. The goal is that it becomes a little bit autopilot at some point. Most of these people I don't take orders from. Some call me with an order, but most of it goes into order entry. It happens. My job becomes training. And I'm really, I like to look at it at a higher level than some people might, but of maintaining, because, you know, there's really two, as you know, Bruce, there's two things. You're either prospecting for new business or you're maintaining old business. And different people have different rules of thumb on that. I don't know that I could give you this as a concrete number, but I'm going to tell you, I feel like I'm around 60% of my time is maintaining. Okay. Because you don't want to lose. I don't want to be chasing customer B and forget customer A. Well, then the good news, I got customer B, but I screwed up and forgot about customer A. Now I lost customer A. Always looking for prospecting, always looking for new business. I'm passively aggressive, and that's my approach with that. But never do I lose sight of that. But if I've got 2 calls to take right this minute, always will be with the existing customer, because they are for sure. They are with me.
So with your business,
B may or may not.
Yeah. So with, and that's really important, because it takes 80% more time to get new business than retain the old business. So that when you do sell the product and turn it over to the manufacturer to actually fulfill the execution of delivery, and you're moving on, but you still maintain that contact with them to make sure the order goes well, because you're the one who brought them on board.
Oh, absolutely. I'm the one that brought them on board. I feel a massive loyalty to them, because let's face it, everything I sell, they can buy something similar, right? I mean, there's nothing that I sell that they can't. I happen to feel everything I sell is the best, right? But with that said, they can still buy anything I sell and it still will work for them. So they're really buying me. They're putting a lot of faith into what I tell them, a lot of faith that I'm going to take care of them. If it's a brand new customer, for example, brand new customer, I'm always on that one. I walk every order through. I make notes on my phone to call. Did you get it? Did it ship? Because, you know, you never want to have issues, but you'll always have issues someday. That's just business. Having an issue when we have a long-term relationship, you forgive me pretty quickly. Mm-hmm. Having an issue on the first order, not so much, right? Yeah, so that's important to me.
So basically, what I'm just demonstrating today is a great process of how it helps to have 2 people working one show. So as you can see, I'm running my my best of right now, and as well as doing the live portion. So I thank you for Scott for pointing out there was no sound for the beginning of the show. We will take care of that in the replay, and Catherine as well. And then we have a great guest here, Sandra, looking for work for us to do some work with you again. Great, I will definitely keep in touch. I'm not sure if you meant to post this publicly, but again, Sandra is great in PR. She works with some great firms, and if you're looking for PR help, check out Sandra. And as well as if you're trying to sell a house, check out Scott. And Catherine is fantastic. So Again, if you're looking to do something like this, build your brand online, I have actually created this playbook that that can actually help you get started with your camera, with your audio, with your lighting, as well as additional items. So if you go to the bsvp.com/playbook, and I'll put that in the show notes as well as up here, bsvp.com/playbook, right there. And you can download the free playbook. It's available now. All I gotta do is fill out your name and we'll get this right to you. So for the second part of the show, we've actually divided this into 3 segments. For the second part, we're going to be talking about return on investment and return on time, because not everything doesn't have to be a financial investment. It can also be how you're investing your time. And then also, how are you networking? So moving on to that, we're talking with a number of salespeople as well as chambers of commerce. So back to the replay and the best of marketing, or best of sales and marketing for 2020. Return on investment, or is a cash flow basis. Sometimes it is based on investment of your time.
Yes, again, like we were talking about. So, you know, us in business, especially solopreneurs and one-man shows, you have to go to all these networking events to try to meet people, press the flesh, as they say, introduce yourself, introduce the services to people. You've got to stop and think, okay, it takes me maybe 30 minutes to drive to that location. I spend an hour there, take me 30 minutes to drive back. So that's 2 hours of your day gone, and the gas. How much do I get out of that? If you're just going for as a social event, then fine, you can go all you want. But if you're going to meet people, get customers, before you leave in the morning, you need to say, okay, how many people do I need to talk to today that I think are potential clients? And how many of those do I need to convert? If it's working for you, you're meeting people, you're converting people, I'd say continue going to that event. But if you've gone to that event 6 months, a year, and you get nothing out of it, that's money that you're spending. Consider another event. That's the return on your time that you're talking about, and the return on your investment, because it technically is an investment. I tell people, marketing ends up on your income statement as an expense, but it really is not an expense. It's an investment.
And the nice part is you don't have to travel. You can just log in right from your location, and you're there. So, and you can leave if you need to leave at any time. You can just exit out of the meeting, and you can join the meeting. Even if you're a few minutes late, you can always join the meeting at any time as well. So there's a lot of advantages to it. And that's, I think everybody's done a webinar at some time, or a live, watched a live video on Facebook. So this is really the wave of the future, regardless of the situation now. I think that more and more businesses are really going to be turning to online techniques and vehicles to promote themselves going forward, because you can really access a larger group of people and get your message across. You can, you know, live stream it to Facebook or YouTube, and you can really have connections and make new connections too with all the new participants. So yeah, I think it's the wave of the future, one way or the other. It's here to stay.
Is there any specific part of the website that usually people go to first?
Oh, for sure. Programs and events is really our #1 most visited, and people stay on that page. They will stay upwards of, well, 15 minutes. I'd say our average each month, I'm noticing right now, again, pretty new website, so I'm still getting into the analytics, is about 8 minutes on our programs and events page. And they are diving through all of our programs. You'll see there that we have listed. So
yeah, it looks like you got something later today and tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
So who's
never a quiet day.
Yeah. And then also, in addition to this, you actually run a YouTube channel, and you appear regularly on your local cable station, right?
Correct. NCTV 17 is a great partner of ours. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so I know I don't know. I'm kind of reversing the chairs on you. Usually, Kaylin, you're the one asking all the questions, which, as you see here, it's easier to ask the questions than it is to answer the questions. Because all I need to do is just say maybe like, "How's it going?" and then you talk for like 5 minutes. So, so actually, and Kaylin, on one of the local recent videos, you were talking about video itself, about how businesses should be doing video. You had like a few tips. You want to share those?
Yeah, Kelly, those are your tips. I will let you share them in.
Yeah. So I think, everybody, that everyone should have a social channel, right? And I think that whether it's a Facebook Live, actually Kaylin did a Facebook Live launching our website that you just referred to, walked people through it. It gets great engagement. I mean, people say pretty commonly now, video is king, and it hasn't changed. We just see, as long as it's short and sweet and to the point, for the most part, little bites, great to just throw in your social media feed. Again, Facebook Live, or just take the time, do a quick video, throw it up, have a meaningful bit of content, know your audience, keep it fresh, and you'll see engagement go through the roof, typically. It starts to dive a little when it gets lengthy, but there's a time and a place for lengthy videos as well too. But that's where the YouTube channel kind of lives.
I think with the important thing about live, especially if you do like a Zoom and record the Zoom and then post that, the conversation gets really interesting. And I think you've got a lot of engagement during the live as well as in the replays.
True. And all of our programs, as you had just had on our website, they're all being recorded, some of which we're sharing and posting, you'll see on our page, because we felt they were so valuable. It's an opportunity for our members to engage as thought leaders. We actually offer it as an advertising opportunity. We call it advertising.
Sponsorship?
Yeah. So you sponsor a program, you can go 30 minutes or an hour. There's very minimal cost to it. You have full access to all of our membership. We are a very strong, 1,100 members, and a very engaged group of members too. So to open our platforms up, when somebody sponsors a program, a virtual program right now, you're getting posted on all of our social channels, in our e-newsletter, the current that we send out. We have an upcoming events e-blast that also goes out. So all of those, you're getting all of that. Plus, it's open to all of the chamber members as well as the community. So it's a great way to put your brand and yourself, right in front and center. So, if you have something to say, it's a great platform.
In cases where clients are a little uncertain as to how they want their message presented, our design team can help. We can take a basic concept from the client and then look to present them with 2 or 3 examples of how the finished goods would look. And again, review that with them. Our process is very much consultative. We want to understand what the client's objectives are from an experiential marketing and branding standpoint. And then once we know that, look to provide them with solutions to really help that event be as successful and effective as it can be.
And especially with things opening up, people are doing more. I think even in our local area, where local chambers is holding a golf outing, and there's a lot of tent placement there, especially if there's a chance of rain. You don't want to be rained out or rained on, but also to establish your brand on location.
Yes, in the case of tents, you're absolutely right. They do provide a form of shade and shelter from sun, wind, rain. But the number one objective, as you duly noted, is that brand presence, whether it's a golf tournament, again, a festival, an event, a company's sampling program. They want to be noticed. They want to engage clients, so that we do that. And there's no denying that over the past few months, with things being unusual, there's been a downturn in events, but thankfully we're seeing a reopening. Events are being planned, live events and activations are always going to be a part of a company's marketing engagement plans. We're humans, we want that interaction. So we're noticing a slight uptick now as well.
And so like vehicle wraps and things like that.
Yeah. First of all, yeah, we've been doing this now for about 9 years, and got into the business because I enjoyed the printing business from my previous life. But we, like him, we do some of the things that he does, the tents, the backdrops like you have behind me here. We do the flag. But I think for the majority of our business, we get more into the window graphics, wall graphics, vehicle graphics. We also do event graphics, but the majority of our business right now has been the window walls, building graphics, and the vehicle wraps.
As far as laying those out, because let's pull up a picture here. So you've got this laid out really interestingly, and you've got this woman across 6 panels here. One thing that some people don't understand is when you design a graphic, it's not basically one sheet of image that's just sliced and fitted. There's actually some math that goes into this as well.
That is one graphic that is put into our software, and we put in the measurements into the software that divides it up and has it continually go. So even when there's a space due to the structure, it follows along with it. This job that we did, it was approximately about 3.5 football fields worth of vinyl, and that went into this project, and shows from both the inside and the outside with most of it showing from the outside, which is where they wanted it to show. They're opening up a new location, and even though that we're in a situation with the COVID, they wanted to get that message out that they're going to be opening, and they decided to go along this route to make sure that people knew they were building and coming into that location.
Because it's the first thing they're going to open up on their desk or when they pick up their mail.
Yep.
And it's really cool when you get the little ticket, because maybe it doesn't go in the slot. Now they got to go to the post office and say, somebody sent me a package. It's an experience.
And then I think one of my favorite items is we used to go to the broadcast convention, and I got this one backpack one year as a registration person, and that's the one backpack I bring with me everywhere. It's big enough to fit my small camera in. So if I'm on an airplane where I have to actually take my video camera out of my carrying case, I was used to travel on planes. I remember those days. But if it's a smaller puddle hopper flight and they don't let you bring your carry-on, I'll actually take my camera out of the carry-on, put it in my backpack, and bring it onto the plane with me, because I will not check my camera ever. But that's one item I've had for, it must be maybe 6-7 years. And it's got the company logo on there, and I'm always looking at that.
Yeah, in the right quality, anything it's just going to last longer.
Thanks, Norman. Thanks. That was fantastic. You again. It was fantastic. Again, we had the entire interview we had. Check it out from Roth. Definitely, live streaming is the way to go. You can actually do pre-recorded videos as well, or even doing what we're doing today, which is repurposing previous content. But if you want to engage with your audience, and again, with people like Phil, who totally agree that going virtual is a way to get new business, and contact us. Also, if you, again, we're offering I know a number of you have already signed up for it during this show, because we just launched this right now. And so if you download the free playbook, it can help you get started with your lighting, your camera, and your microphone. If you need help with live streaming, if you just want to talk about live streaming, then give us a call. You can contact us through this, we're bsvpTV, or you can just download the playbook, and we'll get in touch with you. And thank you, Scott. So moving on to section 3 of our show, we're talking more about online SEO and social media. So let's get into part 3 of the show.
Believe it or not, my team, the online advertiser, like we do have a team of Google and Bing and social media expert advertisers. So what we do, we actually also run Bing ads. So believe it or not, the fascinating thing about Bing ads versus Google ads, it's like almost like 50% less in terms of ad spend, and still it brings good result for our clients. That's something like a lot of business not tapping into it, but luckily we're doing that, and we're sharing these sort of resources with our clients that, hey, if you're running Google ads, why not give it a test on Bing so you can get more clients.
And are there any search engines besides Google and Bing? Do you know?
You have Yahoo.
Yahoo?
Right. You have Yahoo. Then what else do we have back in the day? We have like a lot of stuff, but I think they just gone.
Opera? Is Opera doing anything these days?
Alta Vista and what else? Do you remember CompUSA?
But again, is Yahoo a browser or is it a search engine? Because because like Firefox is a browser, and people can
Yahoo is a search engine. Search engine, yeah.
Ask
Jeeves, yeah, this is also search engine for like question based, which is actually good because you can go ask Jeeves and ask questions and see what comes up, and maybe you can optimize your pages for those questions and see if you show up right there. Right now, what I recommend a lot of businesses when it comes to like content creation is to check answerthepublic.com. So when you go to answerthepublic.com, you can actually see what kind of popular questions your audience are asking, and you can click on those questions, and it will take you to Google, and it will show you what kind of result is coming up. So now you can use this data, this information, to write content for your customer.
Yep, well, I've been doing that with Quora, where I get a lot of questions on Quora. I'll answer the questions and then put it on my to-do list to do a video on those questions.
Good. That's very good, and I'm glad you did that, because when people ask me, like, how can I attract my audience? Well, if your audience asking questions, you got to provide the solution, right? So yes, Quora is another place. I know Yahoo Answers is another one. So you definitely check those too.
Because again, I think in the early days of Google is they usually ranked you based on how recent your last post was to that website. And so you always wanted to keep your website current. And a lot of times people just build a website and then they put it out there and it sits there for several years with no updates. And the easiest way to put updates to your website is by creating blog posts and adding content that way.
Right, you're right. This is very important because now you are writing the content because your customers are hungry for an answer, right? So you did the proper research and now you wrote it and you optimize it, and now you can share them on other social platform, or if you have an email list, you can use that to put it out there. Because one of the most challenging for a lot of businesses is that they don't know what kind of content they need to write, for example. Even though they know their business, but they don't understand or they don't realize what kind of question their audience are asking. So Answer the Public is a great place. And of course, like you said, the Quora is another popular site as well.
I type in Sonia Figueroa, realtor. You're number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you got some videos, 6, 7. So yes, you fill up the entire first page, and that's kind of branding too. Is when people are searching for you, can they find you? And then here are your reviews. So I've actually found that Google My Business and Google Reviews gives a lot more weight than even Yelp, because people are on Google more than they're on Yelp.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the first thing people do is go to Google. I think Yelp is more has more of a tendency for like restaurants reviews on there versus let me try to find an agent on Yelp. You're gonna go first to Google for that.
Yep, and the fact that it shows up. This little piece on the side here, over here on the side, this shows up prominently. And actually, I found that some people will just click on this or call me through this little Google My Business display without ever even going to my website.
Yeah, it's so important. Also, what I've noticed is the people that have reached me from Google, they actually look on the map. So they'll look on the map to see, you know, the proximity, and then they'll call me from there. Like they're almost doing like a map search from the maps, Google Maps.
Okay.
So I found that pretty interesting too, that people are on the map looking.
And you're all over the place. So how do you show up? Because you're primarily, are you on the north side of Chicago?
Yeah, so my office, that picture right there is in Jefferson Park, which is north side of Chicago.
Okay.
So that's like a brick and mortar place, you know, an office, brick and mortar office. And then, but I do go all over the city of Chicago and suburbs. So I'm not just there, but I do have a presence there in case a client wants to meet me at the office. You know, they feel more comfortable in an office setting versus, you know, going to like a Starbucks or something like that, especially right now. Everything's closed.
And so as far as getting your message out there and followers, it is more quality than quantity. Although in some cases, the numbers kind of come in because when you have sales quotas, most people say, well, if I make 1,000 calls, I'll get 100 responses. So
well, that's somewhat true. I think that's kind of an old school, maybe sales manager thought process of, you know, what actions did you take? And I'd rather make 5 quality touches on an account or a prospect than make 50 and 45 of them don't matter, where you're just wasting time. I think that's kind of an old school misnomer in the world, that you've got to make a lot of quality touches, because I think it's just not that way anymore. I think because you can reach people in so many different ways, you know, whether it is old school and it's dropping a card in the mail, or it's making a phone call, or it's somewhat new school, which is, hey, I'm going to follow you on Instagram. I'm going to send you a friend request on Facebook because we're in the same industry. Or I'm going to send you a video on LinkedIn. There's so many different ways to reach people now. And like I said, I don't think you need to make 500 calls anymore. It's like I said, quality over quantity for sure.
So thank you all for joining us. We'll have another best of next week, focusing more on passion and other items of interest. So if you haven't yet added the playbook to your library, it's a really quick read, especially if you're looking to be on camera. Whether you're on camera for just on a Zoom meeting, you are still portraying yourself as a professional. And if you're fumbling around with the dials, if your camera isn't set properly, if your lighting isn't set properly, you're not coming across your professional best. So again, this playbook is a great help to get you started. And if you haven't yet subscribed to our YouTube channel or followed us on our Facebook page, please do so. And if you enjoyed this content, share it out. It will probably be reposted soon with the sound at the beginning. So I really appreciate your patience for the first couple minutes. But again, thank you much. Have a great week. And again, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we'll put some other related videos up on here as well. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you're going to see the links. Well, thank you again all for joining us. And if you're interested in being a guest on our show, we're opening up season 2 and starting to book that for next year. So thank you much and have a great week.